It's always an interesting time when we have the state of the state address that's given. You never know what the plans are from the governor's office. So I kind of just go in with an open mind. And my first thing yesterday was kind of just the difference in past state of the state. We kind of had an infomercial, it felt like, that we were watching, where the governor had this video playing, and just kind of propaganda, really, if you will. But listening to his address, I took a lot of notes yesterday while he was talking, and it just sounds like there's just going to be a lot of money spent again, and not a lot of tax relief given to the taxpayers of Idaho. He says that he wants to max out the rainy day funds. And and it's great to be prepared, but you know what, in our current situation where we have inflation the way it is, and the prices that everybody's paying for food, for gas, I read an article not too long ago that the average family is spending an extra $10,000 annually just because of all the cost and the inflation that's occurring. So we really do need to be focusing on giving that tax relief that people are needing. On the radio today, when I was coming into work, they were interviewing different people calling in about what they wanted to see happen in the legislature. And I don't know how many times people said, get rid of the grocery tax. And that is something that we have been trying to do. And I say we, as far as the Idaho Freedom Caucus members and a few others that have been trying to get rid of that. And we just can't make any headway on it. But that is something that would really, really help Idahoans at this point in time because of the food prices. And so, a lot of it just seemed like a lot of spending. He had a few things that, a lot to education. Well, I really want to see improvement in our education, and we keep just throwing money at education. How about let's actually start seeing some improvement? Our students for reading and math are in the very low percentage, and we keep putting more money towards these things, and we're really not seeing that much of an improvement. So I would really like to see our education become better, and that our students are actually performing well. So those are some of the things. Like I said, just a lot of money being spent, and I know they're starting to go through the budget. And what I'm hearing is that the 2.2% that the governor's office is touting, that the budget's going to be increasing, really isn't going to be a 2.2%. If you look at all of the one-time expenditures that are going to be going on, it's more like 13 or 14%. But I think they're trying to massage it to make it look like there's not going to be a whole lot of money spent, that the budget's not going to increase that much. But when in reality, you take into those one-time expenditures, those one-time, that adds into it, and that adds up. And it would be like us we'd be ignoring like 80% of our budget, our household budget. Like, we're just not going to look at that. We're just not going to pay attention to it. But yeah, it seems like a lot of money.
Yeah. Well, I want to go back to something something that the governor said that I want to get your take on, is
Mm-hmm.
that, and I believe he says this in good faith, that he's a partner with you guys, with the legislature. And in terms of constitutional duties, it's the executive's branch to carry out the laws that are passed by you folks in the Senate and the House. And so it always seems to be that the governor is presenting bills and writing legislation and writing programs for you guys to pass, and they rarely ever get shot down or
Right.
negotiated. I mean, are they negotiated? Have you ever been in any of these meetings with the governor negotiating bills before
No,
session starts?
you're absolutely right. There's a lot of pre-planning that goes into the legislative session, and the mindset for many in the legislative body is that whatever comes from the governor's office, then that's what we're passing, that's what we're doing. And we're allowing the executive branch to legislate. Well, if that's the case, then why do we need legislators? Let's just let the executive branch take care of it, and they can just make whatever laws they want, write whatever bills they want. And that's not how it's supposed to take place. So when he says that he's partners with the legislature, I always take that as a very loose term. He's partners with some in the legislature, but not everybody. So so I don't agree with his consensus on that. It's not an everybody type thing.
Yeah. And these historic investments in education that we've seen and heard the word historic over many previous sessions.
Hmm.
Um, this historic, and now what's going to be a historic investment in the school systems and in the infrastructure and the buildings and such. What is your take on all of this money being thrown at education, where, as you've already pointed out, we're not seeing a dramatic improvement
Right.
in the quality of education, the folks that are being developed. There was somebody shared a video where one of the colleagues in the House there mentioned that homeschoolers, how can we be sure that homeschoolers become functional adults? And I don't know if that's necessarily exclusive to homeschooling, if that or if the problem is even bigger in public schools these days. But
Yeah.
is money the answer?
No, money is not the answer. You can't spend people into being educated. I mean, it helps. I mean, you have to be able to purchase some things, but money is not the be all end all into education. It's how kids are taught. How involved are their parents? There's all sorts of different factors that go into play. And so money does not fix everything. And it certainly has been shown to hold true to what kind of performance our students are doing. And it's not just Idaho. We have this problem going on because everything's turned, well, not everything, but a lot of things have turned towards the DEI, pushing DEI, all the wokeism, all the stuff, the sexuality in education, all that stuff that's been pushed into our education system, which has pushed out the traditional reading, writing, and arithmetic that we were working on with students. And the governor kept repeating, that what we are doing in Idaho is working. Well, I don't see that. I don't see that what we're doing in Idaho is working, especially when it has to do with education. If that was so, our scores would be improving drastically and our students would be performing better. So I don't feel
Yeah.
that throwing more money at it is the solution to the problem that we have.
Yeah, and you're on the Senate Education Committee, so you're definitely that is definitely something that you're paying attention to and committed
Yep.
to and very focused on. So, all right, well, we're coming up on the break here with our time with you. Where can people follow you? What's the best way to get in touch with you?
Yeah. So the best way to follow me is Nichols for Idaho. It's FOR. Idaho, and that's my website. And you can find me on also X and Instagram, Facebook under Nichols for Idaho.
Great, Senator. Thank you for joining us. I hope you come back.
Thank you.